How's it going, guys? And girls, ladies, and lads? Uh, yeah. How was y'all's week? Uh, I will give a 30-second moment of silence for you to respond and tell me how your week was. I'm just kidding. I can't be quiet for like 30 seconds. I'm sorry if you was talking and I interrupted you, but not really. I had, well, at this point, it's a little late now because I was going to record an episode, and then I found out something I don't want to talk about in a little bit, and I was like, well, I'll just wait until that happens, and then I'll record it. But then now we're here, and I decided to go ahead and do it. And there has been a lot that's happened just in the world. I feel like, at least with some of the shit that I'm interested in. I keep saying and I do not like it. Every time I say it, I can just like it rings in my head. Just uh. So I was watching the Conor McGregor fight card, and it was great. You know, every single UFC event that I watch is great because it's people punching each other in the face, and it's hard not to like watching that. And oh man, that made a huge spike. I'm sorry. I should have done that away from the microphone. My fault. But so there was all this hype building up to the fight, and I'm sitting there and I was like, heck yeah, I got my kids in bed. I could sit here and watch it and like, wait, I don't know. My buddy might have came over. I can't remember at this point. But yeah, he came over for the early card but left before the Patty fight. And I was like, I was ready for a fucking slugfest. I thought Patty was going to win. And I just thought it was going to be, you know, a bit more of a slug out than it ended up being because holy crap, like he just jumped on that motherfucker's neck like it was a trampoline and then didn't let go until he won. And it didn't take long. It was pretty impressive. And you're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, this is the energy that's coming into this shit. Like, Connor is about to have a crazy fucking fight. And, like, I don't know if Max Holloway, did he throw a punch? Like, it's sad to not, like, just did or did not throw a single fucking punch. And Connor's leg was, as I was sitting there watching it, I was in my group chat, like, man, I don't know. Like, I was sitting there watching it, and when he took his shoes off, it's a part that people in the UFC, fucking Reddit or whatever, have been like harping on, is when he's like sitting there taking his shoe off. And even just sitting there watching it live, I was like, man, that looked weird. Like, is he good? But then he got, you know, he continued on. And when he came out and threw that kick, I wasn't like, why the fuck would he do that? Because it's Connor, and that seems like something he would do. But do I think that he hurt his knee in that moment? Like, maybe he was already a little hurt, and doing that, maybe it aggravated it. Like, maybe it made it worse. And maybe it was something that was like, I heard somebody say that it was a type of thing that the younger Connor could walk off, but once you get to a certain age, your body can't just walk off injuries like you used to. And while we're on the topic of age, it is a crazy thing to be considered an unk now, like being out in the fucking, like, working, going to work, being called Unc, like, being, I'm an older guy now, and it's like, holy shit, it does come for everybody. But, like, I've always felt old, even when I was 18, fucking 14, I always felt older than I was. And I made a short that was really different for me, and it did not get pushed out on the platforms like it probably should have. And the subject matter is not necessarily friendly, I guess, and I'm not using like $1 million equipment to make my stuff. I'm using my phone, and it gets made, and I put out whatever idea I have. And I don't know, I've talked about it already, but not all my ideas are funny. A lot of the ideas that I've had that haven't been funny in the past, I was like, well, that's not what this channel is. Like, my YouTube channel is for comedy stuff, or like, that's what I want to be put out there, is like comedy. And then at the same time, it's like, man, I got a lot more shit going on in my brain than funny all the time. And like, I can't even remember where I started off on that whole thing. Was being Unc, yeah, and having shit on my mind. How did I connect those two dots to get to that point? You tell me. I don't know. Maybe that's why I am doing a podcast, ? But having been old my whole life, basically, now when I'm called Unc, it's just like, oh shit. So like, the things, not just like me personally, but the things in the zeitgeist of like people my age is now considered old and lame and like bad and shit. And I've really embraced my asshole qualities, I guess. But it's considered, like, I think it's perceived as asshole if you don't like understand that my actual intention is like, hey, I like you, like, we're chill, and I'm going to speak my mind with you. I don't like, if I feel like I have to filter myself, that's when I'm just more like, I'm not gonna talk, because filtering is hard. So I say either a lot, or I can say nothing. And it's like that sometimes. What can you do? But yeah, so if I get called Unc, I'm like, dude, just tell me what you like. Tell me what you like. And then they tell me some shit, and I'm like, that's stupid. That is dumb. Like, but then I think back to the shit that when I was 17 to 19, what the fuck ever, like, even the stuff that we liked then, I still thought it was dumb, because I've always liked older shit. I've always been Unc. Like, I've always had the Unc mentality of just being an old crotchety shit. And I do not mind that, because like, I feel as though it's always very clear to know where you stand with me. Like, if I don't like you, it's kind of obvious, I would say. And normally it's because I will say, like, sometimes I'll say I don't like you with a smile on my face, and the smile And the tone in my voice is supposed to indicate that, hey, I'm just playing with you, you know. But then sometimes I can just look at somebody and be like, yeah, I just really do not like you. Like, if I'm forced to say anything, I can say that. But that gets you looked at as an asshole. I don't know what my cat just caught, but no, maybe it was a housefly. Crazy ass. Oh. I started talking about the Connor fight, and it was so short. There's not too much to say other than like, man, do I think he was talking about he has one more fight on his contract, and it's like if it's another one like he just had in another 5 years, nobody's gonna care. Like, it's not gonna be the thing that it was this time, him coming back again. And if they try and make it be that, then I think they are making a mistake, because he's got too much baggage with him for people to actually give a shit if he comes back and is like successful. I guess if he wins in a fight, he's still gonna have like, he's still gonna be Conor McGregor and do all the things that Conor McGregor did, like randomly punch an old dude. That's crazy. That is crazy. I listened to, sorry, I had to go and grab a drink, but I listened to the Joe Rogan JD Vance interview, and honestly, I have not listened to much Joe Rogan. Like, once everything he talked about was connected to like politics and stuff, like I just kind of tuned it out. But if like I saw it was JD Vance, and I was like at work, and I was like, man, might as well listen to it, you know. And it was weird, like sitting there listening to a vice president talk and knowing that whatever he says, like, has been filtered, you know, has been watered down so that it's palpable, and he's not really saying anything, but he's saying a lot. He's talking in circles. Oh man. Ooh. That came from like the deep belly all the way up, and I felt it the whole time, like working its way up. And yeah, he was talking about conspiracy theories, but then basically saying like, hey, I love you guys. All the information that I have, I would give you. He did this. He said the same shit Cash Patel said, basically. Like, if I had some information, don't you think I would write you? Don't you think I would text you, Joe Rogan, and you could tell the world? And what? The Epstein files were mishandled because of Pam Bondi. And it's like, wait, who is it that tells Pam Bondi what to do? Who was giving her the playbook that she was following? And I know JD Vance wants to be president. You don't get the vice president without wanting to be president. So he has to. That's why politics is so stupid. It's like, you gotta kiss the ass of the guy ahead of you, or like he's never going to have the party back you. And if you don't have the party back you, then you might have to run as independent. And nobody wins as independent, because you gotta have one of the teams. You gotta be on a team, dude. You didn't pick a team? What the fuck? What? You're telling me that there are two teams, right? There's a fucking jackass and a fucking fat fuck, right? And you gotta pick one of them. See, I think that may not translate verbally, so that was a play on the words of, like a donkey, and I couldn't think of one for the elephant or whatever the fuck, so I just said fat in replacement because elephants be fat as fuck, and we know that, right? I think we do. And you didn't pick a team. You saw two teams, and you was like, nah, I'd rather play by myself. Like, I don't really think that works, like pitting two sides of opposing views against each other and trying to feel like, holy shit, that cat is spazzing. I don't even know. I don't think that the audio would catch it, but that was wild. She just got the zoomies and went, zoop, like, went for it. I know that JD Vance has to say what he has to say, and he's walking a dangerously thin line, on a podcast for fucking, what was it, like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, something like that. I don't know. But to sit there and walk that line and be like, yeah, let's talk about the mistakes that were made with the Epstein files. And he was really into aliens. They talked about the Epstein files, and Joe was he was actually pushing back a little bit and asking some questions, and not just letting him say, well, he didn't, I wouldn't say he pushed back in the way of like having, maybe he didn't have a lot of counterpoints, I would say. Like, it wasn't, he was letting him talk, and then Joe would be like, well, what about this thing? Or what about that thing? And he did a better, Joe Rogan had one of his better political interviews, I guess you could call it, conversations that he's had in a while. Normally I feel like they're super skewed, and it's like, just come in here and tell the people that you are whoever you come up with in these 3 hours. And JD Vance came up with him being a born-again Christian who wants to find out if aliens are real, and what kind of, like, Joe said something about the fact of other foreign countries having some sort of influence or sway in America, and JD Vance was like, yeah, that happens. Like, what can you do? Type shit. And it's just like, well, what you could do is make us, like, get the corruption out of the system and let us run our country, because that's what the fuck it's supposed to be, correct? Correctamundo? See? Is that right? I believe so. But the problem is that the people don't run the country. The money that we made create or controls the country. So, isn't that fucked up? We made a thing called money, and now it controls our whole lives. If you have a lot of it, you're super fucking cool, super fucking smart, everybody loves you. If you don't have any of it, then you're probably a piece of shit who's retarded and might as well just go live somewhere else. Like, you're homeless, you're not worth anything, and too bad. We didn't try hard enough. But that's the world we live in. I wish I didn't watch the video of Joe and him talking, but I would like to have. I might go back and watch some or just do like clips and just see JD's face while he's talking. Just see if it looks like he believes what he's saying. And maybe he does. And shit, he'd be the youngest president we've had in what, 10 years or more at this point? No, because there was 2 Trumps, so that's 8 by himself, so 12 years. Obama wasn't old. Yeah, I think. But we just had geezers running the palace for a while, and it's like, okay, Emperor Palpatine and fucking... I don't even know what Trump would be, just an old-ass Teletubby. The orange Teletubby. Is there an orange Teletubby? There is now. It's really just a sad state of affairs we've gotten ourselves in here. But what can we do? Oh yeah, I know what we can do. We can pick a side and just fucking hate the other side so much. Because, like, could you imagine if they just had the UFC sponsored Democrats versus Republicans, and they just get some motherfucking, like, they get some congressmen, senators, and they just have them beat the shit out of each other to pass legislation. That's some idiocracy shit. Like, that's how we decide who is in charge. We just get a bunch of politicians in a room and they just beat the fuck out of each other. And the last one standing is the president. And it's kind of a call you out situation. Like, maybe everybody takes some time and they recover. They go hit the gym. That way, our president always has to be jacked, too. You don't want to fuck with a country where they decide who rules it like that. Who's going to fight us if we're fighting ourselves all the time, right? They're going to be like, these motherfuckers are crazy. They get all their people. They don't even talk about it. They just all go silently into a room and just start beating the ever-loving shit out of each other. And now fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger's El Presidente? Fuck. Lost the train of thought. I was trying to see if it would, like, stop at the next... I don't know what you call a place a train stops at. That is a crazy thing to me. I live so far out in, like, the country that trains are just not a thing that people really use for transportation. And when I think of a train, I think of, like, basically a rail car. I don't even think of a train. I think of, the front, the engine, or whatever you call it, that pulls all the rest of the carts and containers that have whatever the fuck they're shipping out. Why did I start talking about trains? I don't know. When I'm feeling pessimistic and when I'm really in my unk bag, I'm like, oh, the government and the world, like, America's fucked. We're gonna leave a shitty ass country to our kids, and they're just gonna have to deal with it because we couldn't do anything. Because what's gonna happen by the time my generation gets older and be the ones in power? We're all gonna be crotchety and old and corrupted by the fucking system too. Because there's a saying, something about money or power corrupting completely. And for sure, it really does. Somebody waves, like, sponsorships. I get sponsorships on this shit. You best believe, or ad placement. Like, I don't care what you're selling. if you're going to give me money to just say your brand on here into this little microphone, then I will. Just I don't care. You guys can say, oh, you shouldn't advertise for that because it's not ethical. But you know what is ethical? Me getting money and providing for my family. Like I had a conversation the other day with a lady, and she was like saying how at one point she was struggling for money as a single parent, and she was like, I just did OnlyFans for like a month, and she was like, I made a ton of money, it was great. And I was like, well, why'd you stop? And she said, well, it didn't feel good, like it felt like dirty money. And I said, I can understand that, like in some circumstances or avenues, like you tried it, it worked, but it didn't feel great. And I likened it to me doing sales, because selling stuff it's less about selling the product and more about selling yourself. And if you're able to walk up and be positive, confident, but not like assertive, then you can do well. And like if you're knowledgeable on whatever the fuck it is that you're selling, then it's possible. But that's another thing that I can't stand. And I was watching Tires recently, and they have that episode where they go to that tire selling convention, and that is just a good example of the guys who go online and they're like, if you want to sell, you have to be an alpha. You have to dominate the people who you're selling to. You have to strive to be the absolute best. And it's like, buddy, like, I just want these people, if they want the shit, I want them to get what they want and to be happy with it. Like, I'm fucked up because I don't make money unless I sell stuff. So I have to either try really hard to find the people who want and or need what is being sold, or I have to exaggerate the truth, right? Kind of manipulate the situation to where they think they need or want the service more than they do. And if you present yourself a certain way, then you can do that. And it's fucking slimy. It's dirty, and I never felt good about doing it. Like, it's not a thing that's enjoyable for me, So, I don't know how I started talking about that. I don't know how it got there. But I feel like this is the perfect example of ADHD brain. Like, I forgot. Like, there was a pause there, and I didn't know what I was going to say, even though I knew exactly what I was talking about. My voice sounds kind of fucked up, and it feels kind of fucked up because I work in a fairly cold environment, and it's been so hot that the walking in and out has been not great for my sinuses. So, I don't know if it's got some more what baritone in it than normal, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Bass. Just questionable with the whole interview between Rogan and Vance, because his name is letters, basically. You feel like you have to say the whole thing, JD Vance. But like, No, I'm either gonna say JD or Vance as my little fuck you. I could call you your full name because it takes 2 seconds, but no. Your name. What is his real name? Like, what does the JD stand for? I was gonna come up with a stupid meaning, but I couldn't do it that quick. I'm sorry, I let you guys down. What can you do? I was going to record this later, back on the topic of fighting, because I have a friend who's having an amateur fight, and I was going to go and like be in his corner, help, like be there to support him, but because of work, that's what I was talking about, dirty money. Because of work, I can't miss work to be able to go do that, last minute. There was like, hey, we have to do overtime. And that's another thing that's been happening everywhere, has been like, we have to go, we have to work 6 days a week, 7 days a week, not doing enough, gotta work more. And it's like, damn, like, I never think that I'm lazy, because when I'm at work, I will work hard. But I'm the type, like, I just feel like I should be able to work a decent amount of hours. Nothing crazy. Why do I have to work 60 hours a week? How about we knock it down to like 32, to like even just 40? Just actually working a 40-hour week would be fucking great. But the way everything is, you work as much as humanly possible. And I'm specifically talking about people in warehouse, manufacturing, like factory work. If you're in an office or something, I can't relate to that. Sorry, bud. Actually, not sorry. Fuck you. Get up and do like 10 squats right now. If you're in an office and listening to this and you're not doing squats right now, then I'm honestly disappointed in you. Because working in a warehouse sucks. And it's my fault for not, doing things to, maybe prepare for life. But why do I have to prepare for the whole rest of my life in the first fucking 18 years of it? That seems so unfair. And it's like, hey, be a kid, but also learn everything that you can, because if you don't, you're going to go out there and you're going to be fucked. You're going to work hard every single day and you're going to make money. Yeah, they'll pay you because, slavery is not really legal anymore, but we're going to pay you just enough so that you can't get ahead and you always have to come back to work. You can't miss a day because you might lose your job because you're easily replaceable. There's plenty of people who want to work, but we'll pay you. Like, you'll get money. So, does that sound good? And it's like, well, you know what? Actually, it sounds horrible, but I don't have another fucking choice. Do I, bud? Holy crap. So yeah, if I get ads on here or like whatever, then best believe I'm gonna be sitting here like, buy sheath underwear. They hold my dick and nuts really well. Like, it cups it and keeps separated what needs to be separated so I don't get like smelted sack, where it's all like blended in together and maybe you gotta go piss and you go to grab your wiener while you're going to go pee and like the skin from your wiener gets stuck to your ball skin, so it's like all this weird like bat. That's not the bat wing, but it does look like a bat wing getting like stretched out. You gotta be like, what the hell? And like, that was graphic and unnecessary, sheath. I'm sorry, but use code DustyBalls and get no % off on sheath because I'm not sponsored yet. But see, if I do get sponsored or advertisements or whatever, then it could be like that. That's just an example. So, yeah, come put your product on here. I guarantee it'll be great for you. I could have more. I might have more. No, I don't. Bye.